Hello, welcome to our channel Top 10. In this channel we will bring top 10 lists of important, most wanted and famous people, things, events and topics. So without wasting time, let's jump to today's video. Today's video is about 10 failed death endeavours on English royals. The English royal family is likely the most well-known and expansive royal family on the planet, with the Queen of Britain being the official head of state in 16 nations around the globe. Notwithstanding the Ward, the English royal family is darling globally as images of class, polish and lowliness, which they have displayed all through their rule. Their high remaining in the public arena has driven them to become focuses for death for an assortment of reasons. Here are 10 failed death endeavours on the English royal family. Prince Charles. In 1994, Prince Charles was in Australia for Australia Day festivities when David Kang, a previous college understudy disappointed with the status of Cambodian refuge searchers in Australia, bounced up onto the phase where the prince was and discharged 2 shots from a starter gun at the prince. The prince was immediately pulled out of mischief's way by his security group, who at that point caught Kang. The resulting examination uncovered that Kang had sent more than 500 letters concerning Cambodian refuge searchers to different news associations and open authorities. Of these letters, the main reaction he got originated from Prince Charles, who had his secretary mail a reaction. Albeit unsubstantiated, many accept that it was this reaction that drove Kang to focus on the prince and use him as a saint for his motivation. In a peculiar turn, Kang eventually proceeded to turn into an advocate in Sydney. Queen Victoria. Likely England's most well-known ruler, Queen Victoria governed Britain and the English domain all through the modern insurgency, which saw monstrous mechanical development and advancement, based especially in England, which enabled the English realm to grow and in the on control a fourth of the world's landmass. She is likewise known for having various failed death endeavours exacted against her. Most eminently, in 1840, not long after her wedding, the pregnant queen and her better half were riding in a carriage when Edward Oxford discharged a shot from a dueling gun at the queen. From the outset the queen accepted that the shot had originated from close-by trackers. Anyway, in the blink of an eye before Oxford had the option to discharge a second time, the queen had the option to dodge for spread, and the shot missed. Oxford was then handled by the group and the queen proceeded with her carriage ride as though nothing had occurred. Queen Elizabeth II. England's present and longest-serving ruler has been queen all through numerous adjustments in English society, from decolonisation, to the ascent of the IRA and the Brexit vote and following political disturbance. With such a long rule there have been numerous dangers against the Queen's life, from associations and people the same. One such example was on October 14, 1981, when the Queen was on a royal visit to New Zealand. During this visit, multi-year-old Christopher John Lewis, utilizing a .22 rifle, took shots at the Queen from the 5th floor of a place of business. Lewis missed the Queen, who didn't realize she had been taken shots at, with specialists revealing to her it was just a sparkler that had gone off. Lewis, who had admitted to being associated with the Psychological Oppressor Association, was just indicted for conveying a gun in broad daylight and was condemned to 3 years in jail. It is accepted that New Zealand specialists concealed this episode to guarantee the royal family would keep on visiting. Anyway, as of late another examination has been opened into the occurrence, which is right now progressing. King Edward VIII. Most popular for resigning the royal position so as to wed separated from American entertainer Wallis Simpson, King Edward stays a dubious figure in England and the world, even right up till today. Anyway, during his short rule he was exposed to a death endeavour by a man named George McMahon. On July 16, 1936, King Edward had withdrawn from Hyde Park in his carriage on a book course through London, where McMahon was holding up with the pistol, wanting to shoot the king. McMahon, be that as it may, likely apprehensive about what he was intending to do, dropped the gun, causing to notice the group. At that point, in a snapshot of frenzy, McMahon got the gun and tossed it at the king, missing him totally, before being secured by the group. The underlying examination accepted that McMahon was just attempting to say something, and had no aim of really slaughtering the king. Anyway, after it was uncovered that McMahon's genuine name was Jerome Bannigan and that he was subsidiary with the Nazis, driving the last end to be that he was roused by his Nazi belief system. Unexpectedly, Edward himself has for quite some time been accepted to have held genius German, expert Nazi perspectives to where he visited Hitler and was a staunch promoter for harmony with Germany. So if the king had been killed, Germany would have lost a key ideological partner who utilized his impact to look for harmony with the Nazis. King James I. Answerable for Protestantism being reintroduced into Britain, King James the Primary made numerous foes all through his rule. Most eminent the Catholic Church. To such an extent that Catholic agitators in UK chose to kill the king in an exceptionally emotional manner. Their arrangement was to conceal black powder underneath the English place of lodge, and when the king was in Parliament to explode the structure, executing everybody inside. This arrangement would have worked if fellow Fox, who was the one responsible for planting the black powder, hadn't been trapped in the cellar of the place of Parliament. Prince George. Prince George is the most youthful and direct line for the position of authority, however that doesn't make him insusceptible from dangers. Starting in 2016, ISIS sympathizer Husnain Rashid started posting guidance in the application transmit to different ISIS supporters on the best way to best objective the youthful prince. Notwithstanding those guidelines, there were likewise posts containing things, for example, the prince's school highlighting ISIS contenders, and insults, for example, the line, "Even the royal family won't be disregarded." These photographs combined with the immediate risk against the royal family drove English knowledge to make quick move and capture Rashid before he could follow up on any of his arrangements. In court, Rashid admitted to his psychological oppressor exercises, yet was unrepentant in his activities. King George III. England's longest authoritative king is known for driving Britain during a portion of its most outstanding clashes including the American unrest and the Napoleonic Wars. Anyway, he is otherwise called the distraught king because of his temper and unpredictable nature. With these contentions during his rule, George unsettled numerous individuals. One was a man named James Hadfield who opened fire while the National Song of Devotion was being played at the Performance Centre Royal in May of 1800. He missed the king and keeping in mind that he was being captured he said to the king, "God favor your royal height, I like you well overall, you are a decent individual." It was at first accepted that he just said this as an approach to set up a barrier. Anyway, subsequent to being examined by 3 specialists he was made a decision to be criminally crazy and was condemned to uncertain hospitalization, and passed on in a psychological emergency clinic in 1844. Edward Prince of Grange. On April 4, 1900, Edward Prince of Grange, the future King Edward VII was at a Belgian railroad station when he was shot by revolutionary Jean-Baptiste Sepito, over Sepito's conviction that Edward was answerable for the Boer War and the barbarities that the English had submitted against the Boers. Notwithstanding being shot in the face, Edward endured and was not for all time harmed by the assault. Sepito was later vindicated at preliminary, regardless of overpowering proof of his blame, principally because of the way that he was just 15 when he did the assault on the prince. After the preliminary he moved to France where he engaged in numerous communist exercises, and didn't have any further issues with the law. Prince Edward later became King Edward upon the demise of his mom in 1901 and was king for a long time until his passing in 1911. Queen Elizabeth I. Religion was the focal clash in Britain during the 16th century with Catholics and Protestants competing for power through control of the royal position. One huge occurrence of this was the Babington Plot, named for lead plotter Anthony Babington who was an ardent Catholic, which was intended to murder Queen Elizabeth the Initial, a Protestant, and supplant her with Mary Queen of Scots, a Catholic. Through the span of quite a long while, Babington and his plotters utilized different coded messages to design their moves, shipped in things like barrels. These barrels were caught by the Queen's covert operatives, enabling them to catch, and in the long run execute the schemers, including Babington and Mary Queen of Scots. This inevitably prompted Protestantism being established as the official religion in Britain, a custom that proceeds right up till the present time. The royal family. Albeit a few of the focused on people in this section have recently been referenced, they have not been focused on inside and out. As of late, the royal family had been focused by ISIS activists wishing to kill the Queen, just as different individuals from the royal family on VJ Day 2015, utilizing pressure cooker bombs. The danger was viewed as solid enough that the English powers approved an automaton strike coordinated at English Resident Riyad Khan in ISIS-controlled Syria, executing him and 2 different ISIS warriors before they had the chance to make what could have been the biggest and most harming fearmonger assault in current English history. That is all from today's video. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like and share video. Please subscribe to channel and press bell icon to remain updated on new videos. Thank you and have a great day.